very special interview with a very special lady. Just won the hearts of many people. She's been adjudged the beauty queen of Sri Lanka. I'm talking of none other than Stephanie Siriwardena, Miss Universe Sri Lanka 2011. Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Thank you, Chanakya. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Especially, congratulations from everybody here at Rupavahini.
Oh.
And how is the Miss Universe Sri Lanka? Has it sunk into you at the moment?
Yes, it's definitely sunk in. The responsibility that comes with this crown has definitely sunk in. So I've been working very hard and getting ready for it. Because as you know, I'm leaving in a couple of days to Brazil, to Sao Paulo. So, yeah.
So, how did the Miss Universe Sri Lanka happen to you? How did this all came about? Did somebody put your application, or did you put your application?
Oh, that's a funny story, actually.
Tell us the story.
Well, I was coming back from dance class one day, and my mother, she actually comes up to me. She's like, "Guess what I did? Guess what I did?" And I was like, "What did you do, Mom?" And she had put in my application to the Miss Universe Sri Lanka. So that's how I got involved with it.
So you just okayed it? It was never in the back of your mind?
It hasn't been something I thought about, no. But once my mother actually signed me up, I took a moment and I thought about it. And I thought of all the good that I could do if I did win the crown. And it was that which was like the turning point for me. And I was like, yes, I'm going to do this, and I'm willing, and I want to, you know, work as hard as I can to win it. So that's the story.
Right. The day, that was 11th of July, around 10:30, when the name was announced as a winner.
Yeah.
What did you feel? How did you feel at that moment?
Oh my God. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of emotion. And actually at first I didn't quite hear my name. And then when I heard my name, I was so surprised, and I was so grateful. And I remember all I could say was like, thank you. And I was a bit nervous, but very happy. And I remember asking Ishanka, what do I do now? I don't quite know what to do. And she just told me to walk down the ramp and wave. And it was a great moment. I felt, it's hard to describe it, but I guess the easiest way to describe this is to say immense happiness.
You know, there may be thousands, or if not millions, of girls in Sri Lanka to wanting to win what you have won now.
Yes.
In your opinion, what do you think it takes to win a pageant like this? Whether it's this Miss Universe Sri Lanka or another beauty pageant, which is taking you to the heights of the world.
I think.
What do you think you had that others didn't?
Well, I don't know if the others had it or not. I mean, I can't speak to them.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is dedication and determination, because that's when you push yourself. Like, I pushed myself a lot. I worked as hard as possible to get to where I thought I needed to be in order to win. But you also have to take a step back and not get too involved in it, like so that it doesn't consume you, because then that energy could turn against you. So it's good to go with the flow, but also be extremely dedicated and to keep focused. So if this is really what you want to do, just be focused, be confident, and very dedicated. So
you had, like you said, you had to work very hard, and there was a
Yes.
training period after the first selection, after the preliminaries, right? For about a
Yes.
month and a week, or 5 weeks or something. Take us through that. What did you really learn through that? I mean, how was it?
the training, it was, to me, it was a huge learning experience, because I've never been in this industry before. I've never modeled. I've never walked down a ramp. I've never looked at this industry. I was more of an academic. I, just graduated from university, so everything was new to me, from how to stand and how to walk. You think something as simple as walking should be second nature to everybody, but it's not. Like, there's a certain way you have to hold yourself, and I had to learn that. And just to, like, on the ramp, like the poses you need to give, the smiles, don't smile too much, smile with your eyes, like this, that. So I had to learn a lot, and I also had to work on my body a lot, because, you have to. At the end of the day, it's a beauty pageant. So, yeah, it was...
You would say a person who had the experience in modeling or acting, had the edge over you?
I believed so. I mean, I I'm a very how do I say it? I'm very rational.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and in this case, I put my pros and cons together. I was like, okay, what do I have going for me? What do I not have going for me? I saw my weaknesses and I focused all my energy on making sure that I could somehow convert my weaknesses into strengths.
Have you managed to surmount that to a large extent?
To a large extent, I have. And of course, everybody has to continue working because no one's perfect.
What is your favorite experience during the process?
I think
Is there a moment of...
I think getting to know the girls.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I really loved all the girls. They were so nice, so kind. I learned a lot from them. Every single girl has taught me something. And also the bond we had was really great. You know, like I've heard so many horror stories about how beauty pageants are so like, you know, how things could get so negative and, you know, cat fights and whatnot, but that wasn't the case. And I really loved getting to know the girls, their individuality, their personalities, and we had fun. So I think that was my favorite part, apart from winning, of course.
Stephanie, now you surpassed one hurdle, which is winning the Miss Universe Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And now you are heading to Miss Universe per se. You are, I know, going through another process of training, and you have gone through to India, and you will be going for further training. What are you learning now, which you think you didn't learn before? Or is it the same thing brushing up, or is it that you have to learn some new things, or is it just the continuation of what you
I think it's
learned?
a mix of both. Chanakya, actually, it's making sure that what I already learned is to the best level that it could be, because these women have been training for a year or at least 6 months, and I did not have that time, so I need to work double hard. And also there are very, very little things that are still there to learn. For example, I learned that if you walk right and look left, you might get extra points, because it's a bit harder to do that. I mean, that's a little thing, I mean, who would have imagined, right? So there's a lot to learn. So
I heard that your trainer in India had predicted you should win. What do you think he made him say this?
Oh, he didn't predict that I was going to win, but he said I might have a chance, which I think is great. I mean, coming from his mouth, I really
Did you ask him what really made him say that? No.
I didn't, but he did say that I was different, and he told me to be myself, and he told me just, you know, to have fun and be yourself, and that's what I intend to do, but of course train and get myself as ready as I couldn't be, you know.
Beauty, in your opinion, what is beauty?
I've been asked this question. I have an answer.
You have an answer?
Yes,
you have a set answer?
No, I have an answer I really believe in.
Okay.
I think beauty is very subjective, but I do believe that true beauty comes from inside. Because, you know, when you see somebody who's very beautiful, of course your first impression is, wow, this person's gorgeous, you know? But then it's their personality, because you only see someone once. All the other times you see them, it's their personality that you see. So you might see someone very beautiful the first time and be stunned, but then once you get to know them, they're like, oh, that person's not quite that beautiful. That's because inside they're not that beautiful. But if a person is beautiful on the inside, no matter how you look on the outside, you are a beautiful person. So that is my definition of beauty.
In the many interviews you had given, I read to the press soon after your crowning, you had mentioned that you want to promote Sri Lanka to the world.
I do.
And that is something that you really desire in your heart. How do you hope to do that, and why do you want to do this?
Well, why is an easy question. This is my home. I love it. You know, I think Sri Lanka is such a pearl. It's such a gem, you know, because Sri Lanka, there's no other land like Sri Lanka to me. And I feel that Sri Lanka has everything. The first thing it has are the people. The people here are so kind-hearted. You know, they have a very great mentality, like my home is your home. They're very warm people, you know. And that's, I think, the first selling point of Sri Lanka. The second, of course, is just look around. It's gorgeous, you know. Like the sights that you can see, the wildlife, you know, the trees, the nature, rainforests. We have all of that. And of course, my personal favorite, Sigiriya Rock.
Oh.
I actually was planning to have that as a national costume, but that changed a little. But you know, it was the eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah,
Sri Lanka has so much to be proud of, and also we have very intelligent people. So how I want to portray Sri Lanka is that right now the world out there, they have this concept that Sri Lanka is this third world country that has been so war ravaged, you know, oh, poor Sri Lanka. Like, I've had experience with my friends when I was living in Montreal and being like, oh, you should come visit Sri Lanka, it's amazing. And they'd be like, oh no, you know, it's so dangerous, I don't think I could. But they don't understand that now we've gotten over that. Now we're working, and now Sri Lanka's growing at such a fast rate, you know. So it's so important for people out there to see our strengths and the beauty of Sri Lanka, as opposed to the dark time that we went through, you know. So I really want to focus on that, and of course that is my goal, because I'm sure once they get to see just a little bit, they're going to fall in love with Sri Lanka.
Okay, I think your living abroad also made you love your country. But now, living abroad, living in Canada, you studied journalism, communication, and political science,
yes.
right? Is there any reason that you chose this area?
Any reason?
Yeah.
Well, I really love to be a humanitarian.
Okay.
I love helping people, and specifically children. I have a lot of plans on what to do with this crown and the opportunities that it opens. I have quite a few charities and things that I really want to do for this country in the capacity of Miss Sri Lanka. And I always thought journalism was the way, in order to, the path that I should take, because this is a way, like, it's a one-to-many communication stream, you know. I do my research, and I, you know, broadcast it out there, and then people can listen to that message, and then they can take action. Through journalism, you could find a way to inspire people. But then, because journalism in itself is not enough, you need to be able to be the best communicator you can be, in order to send your message in a way that, you know, they can receive it with as little noise as possible. And of course, political science, that's important, because you got to know what's kind of going on around. So
what do you really hope to make your career? Is it a journalist, or a politician, or a humanitarian, or a mix of everything? Or
I think...
not decided? Or
No, I know what I'm going to do. I really think my main focus is not being a journalist, but rather I want to be known as someone who's out there making a change in the world, like someone who's there to help make the world a better place. Like, at the end of my days, I want to look back on my life and be like, yes, I made a difference in other people's lives. I've saved people, and I've sent a great message across. That is, to me, a proper, fulfilled life. So that's my goal. I don't know, that's not a proper definition of what I want to be, but I guess that gives you the idea.
You studied media and communication and journalism, so in your opinion, you would have studied about the case studies. Do you see any particular thing, especially given the changes and the exposure of media per se, like the Wikipedia or the WikiLeaks, and what happened recently in UK with the news of the world, hacking into people's things. And most of the people have violated ethics and all that, right? So when you look at international media as a general, if you could change, is there anything that you would suggest that should be changed?
In the international media? I would say, that's a tough question, but I would say that what I think should not be changed, but rather, you know, not changed, but looked at in a different way, is that there should be a bit more of a proper coverage. And like, if you look at different kind of medias, there are a few biases, or you see that some news stations have a tendency to lean in a certain way, one way or another. And I think maybe it's the viewing that should change. Like, people should not get connected to one certain form, one certain medium, but rather, in order to be properly informed, they should look at different channels or different ways of getting the information, so that they can better see. So instead of just seeing someone else's opinion, they're looking at 3-4 different opinions and then making their own. So I guess it's not something that needs to be changed in the media itself, but rather the way it is viewed. So kind of change your question a little bit.
Any suggestion for changes in Sri Lankan media?
I think, that's a tough one too. I think that there should really be more transparency, and that I believe that journalists should be given a bit more access, and there should be the freedom of proper media.
Will you ever take to being a politician?
No, I don't think so.
Not frontline politics?
No, not frontline politics. I was a student politician, and
You want to remain there?
yeah, that's it. I think that's where that ended, because I find in order to do what I want to do, in politics there's a lot more that goes into it. You can't just go in there and be like, this is what I want to do, I want to do it. There's a lot of other factors that come in between that you have to pay attention to. And sometimes a politician is not always at liberty to do what they think is the right thing to do. So their hand is kind of tied in a way. But I think that's why going through the stream of a humanitarian would be much more beneficial and efficient, I guess, in order to reach my goals.
You said you have never done modeling, or you've never been involved in this industry.
No.
You know, with this crown comes throwing of opportunities in modeling, in film and television and all
Yeah.
that. Would you ever consider any of these areas, film, television, modeling, or
I'm a person.
acting?
I'm a person who really believes in trying everything in life. That you know, so if life throws me something, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to try it, because, you know, life is adventurous. It's exciting, and whatever life throws at me, I'm ready to, you know, try it out at least once and see how I like it before I make up my mind without just.
I also read about you that you were a kickboxer, Latin dancer, and a belly dancer.
Yeah.
What were these so passions or hobbies, or are you continuing them? Or?
Yeah, I'm a very passionate person, I guess you could say. I have a lot of different passions.
Had
Dancing.
these graduated to any career level, any of these areas?
Yes, actually, career levels, I guess, I don't know. I started dancing when I was 16 or 17, a while ago. And at first I wasn't too much into it, but then, you know, it's just so beautiful, because when you dance, it's just you're free, you're 100% free from society's like expectations of you, from everything, and it's just you and the music, and that became a very big passion to me. So I just continued it, and I actually got into a troupe. I've performed in Bermuda, in Miami, in salsa congresses in Canada. So I really love it, and also it really gets you in touch with who you are inside, or at least that was my experience with dance, because I find through every activity that I took part in, I got to know a different part of myself. So every time I did one of those activities, it's like I got to know myself a lot better, and I got to get more intimate with who I was. And I think that's important, to know who you are, exactly what you stand for. And I guess that's through those mediums I was able to do it. Like kickboxing is so fun. It makes you feel so strong. I really like it, yeah. I haven't continued it here. I haven't found a proper school yet. But
you should tell that to all the male people who come across you. They might keep their distance.
oh, get ready.
Right. Safi, when you go back in time and you look back your childhood,
Yes.
how would you describe it?
I had an interesting childhood. I had a very interesting childhood. I've been to almost every international school in Sri Lanka.
Really?
Yes. We've moved around a lot. So home is where family is. You know, it's not a certain like house per se. Like everyone has this house that they grew up in. Like that's my home.
Yeah.
But you know, childhood was great. I was like any other kid. I was a bit of a nerd. I never had a lot of friends, to be honest. I was always with my books. I'm sure anyone who was in my high schools could tell you that. So.
When you look at your parents, whom do you think had the most influence in you?
Oh, that's a tough one. Let's see. I think both of them.
Both of them?
Both of them, because
In different ways?
in different ways, exactly. You know, because you are what you learn from your parents, you know, and there's a part of me that I learned from my father, and there's a part of me that is completely my mother. So both of them together is me, you know. So that's a tough one,
You are already a celebrity with your crown,
I guess.
and you might move on to other areas of continuing a celebrity. But when you look at the celebrities of today, Stephanie, do you think there are areas that the celebrities should stand up to? I mean, there's a crying need, and where they can make a difference. Whether it's Sri Lankan celebrity, Bollywood or Hollywood or anchor or whoever.
I think everyone, I think every person, I mean, not only who's just in the limelight or not, they can make the world a better place. And especially if you happen to be a celebrity, and if a lot of people look to you, that means you have a responsibility to be a role model. Because a lot of these, especially children, you know, when they look up to a celebrity, they're like, oh, I want to be like her, or I want to be like him. So that person has a responsibility to be the best person that they can be, so that, you know, they lead people in the right way, because a lot of people try to emulate celebrities, you know, because that's the world we live in, you know. So I think celebrities should definitely, you know, live their lives and make sure that they send a proper message. And you know, if you're passionate about anything, I mean, it doesn't need to be children, it doesn't need to be, you know, it doesn't need to be like older homes, you know, but whatever you're passionate about, just do it, and do it with your whole heart, and try and send a positive message at all times. So
How would you like to be remembered?
oh,
I know too early to ask it.
how
How would someday you would like to be remembered? The legacy of Stephanie.
the legacy of Stephanie as a person who helped a lot of people, and I really want to, like, you know, a charitable person. I want to be known as a humanitarian, as someone who made a difference, and as someone who touched a lot of lives. That's how I would like to be remembered.
When we come back, we'll see how Stephanie is going to face the actual Miss Universe winning questions. We're going to throw 15 of them to her.
Oh, wow.
That's when we come back after the break.
From the